You don't need permission to believe in yourself. You don't need applause. You need a decision, and you need it now. Most men live waiting for confidence, waiting for signs, waiting to feel ready. But what they're really doing is wasting time. How many chances have slipped through your fingers because you said, that hesitation's not humility. It's fear in disguise. It's old programming, mental habits you've carried for years telling you, not yet. The Stoics taught one thing above all. You are not your emotions, and you are not your doubts. You are your actions. Understand this. Stoicism doesn't offer comfort. It offers control. Control over your mind, your choices. Belief is not something you earn after success. It's what you embody before results show up. And that's what separates the disciplined man from the drifting one. This video is your call to act, to stop outsourcing confidence, to stop waiting for proof and start becoming the proof. We'll break down why belief isn't a feeling, it's a mental structure. We'll uncover how to rewire your thinking, because those old beliefs aren't facts, they're habits you can rewrite. How to face fear without flinching, and how to choose strength even when your voice trembles. Because taking responsibility for your mindset, that's real power. You're not the only one who's struggled. We've all questioned our worth. But the ones who changed their lives, they didn't wait to feel powerful. They decided to become it. If this message speaks to you, like, share, and subscribe. And more importantly, send it to someone who needs it. Because belief, like strength, multiplies when shared. Let's begin. And remember, Stoicism isn't a theory, it's a way to live. 1. Act first. Confidence follows. Waiting for motivation before taking action is like waiting until your thirst disappears before you dig a well. That's how most men live. Delaying, hesitating, hoping confidence will strike like lightning. They wait for a better mood, a better time, a better version of themselves. But that moment never comes. And every delay drains something deeper than time. It drains self-respect. Think about it. How many mornings have you planned to wake early and train? You set the alarm and you have your clothes ready, but when it goes off, you pause. You don't feel like it. You're tired and unmotivated. So you stay in bed. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow when you're more rested, more inspired. But inspiration is unreliable. It's emotion dressed up as logic. The Stoic doesn't wait for inspiration. He wakes up, hears the alarm, and gets moving. Not because it feels good, but because it's the decision he already made. The action doesn't follow confidence. Confidence follows action. Every time you show up despite the doubt, despite the resistance, something changes inside. Your brain begins to rewire. You start seeing yourself not as someone who hesitates, but as someone who does. Each repetition builds mental muscle. That's why the Stoics taught, don't waste time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius didn't say think about it or wait for it. He said be it. That's the difference between philosophy as entertainment and philosophy as armor. Confidence isn't a gift. It's not handed to you after you prove yourself. It's built like calluses on the hands of a worker, earned through repetition, friction, and the refusal to quit. You pick up the mental weight even when your mind says drop it. You step into discomfort, not because you enjoy it, but because you know it hardens you. You do it again tomorrow, and the day after. And slowly, your posture shifts. You don't walk like someone pretending. You walk like someone who's paid the price. If you keep outsourcing belief to how you feel, you'll never move. There will always be another excuse, another delay. But when you act, when you hold the line, even when you're tired, even when no one is watching, you build something deeper than confidence. You build trust in yourself. That trust becomes strength, and that strength becomes presence. People notice it, they feel it, but more importantly, you feel it. And it's real because you earned it. A man who acts before he feels ready is dangerous, not because he's reckless, but because he's disciplined. He's not waiting for the storm to pass, he's walking through it, step by step. No drama, no spotlight, just forward. That's what Stoicism offers. Not hype, not comfort, but clarity. A way to stand when everything inside wants to retreat. A way to move without applause. A way to win the day not by shouting, but by doing. So if you're tired of doubting yourself, don't wait for that to change. Move through it. Lace your shoes. Make the call. Show up to the thing you've been avoiding. Not for the outcome, but for the man you become in the doing. You'll feel the doubt, Let it sit in the back seat, but don't let it touch the wheel. The proof isn't in how good it looks. The proof is in how often you show up when it doesn't. That's how belief is built. That's how power is earned. Not by waiting, not by wishing, but by acting, especially when it's hard. Confidence isn't a starting point, it's a result, and it always follows the man who moves first. 2. Face fear with logic, not emotion. Fear is like the monster under your childhood bed. In the dark, it looks massive, clawing, breathing, waiting. But then you turn on the light, and what you find isn't a beast. It's a pile of old clothes. Fear works the same way today. It hides in emotion, inflates in silence, and thrives in avoidance. But when you shine the light of logic on it, when you stop running and face it, it often shrinks into something small, almost laughable. Before you do anything meaningful, ask for a raise, speak in public, pitch your idea, take that first leap, fear shows up. Your heart races, your hands sweat, your mind spins every possible way it could go wrong. What if I fail? What if they reject me? What if I look like a fool? But stop. Sit down. Write it out. What's the worst that could really happen? Maybe someone says no. Maybe you stumble through your words. Maybe someone laughs. So what? Did you die? Lose your house? Lose your identity? Or did you just feel uncomfortable for a moment? Most men suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca said that, and he wasn't wrong. Your brain is designed to protect you, but it doesn't always know how to distinguish between a real threat and a perceived one. It reacts to public speaking the same way it would react to being chased through the woods. That's not your fault, but it is your responsibility, because fear isn't going anywhere. You can't outrun it, but you can outthink it. Start by naming it. Don't hide from it. Don't pretend it's not there. Say it aloud. I'm afraid they'll reject my idea. I'm afraid I'll embarrass myself. Good, now break it apart. Ask, what happens if that fear comes true? Go through it logically. Will I survive it? Will I recover? Will I learn something? Often the answer is yes, and in that moment, the grip loosens. The wave doesn't disappear, but you've learned to surf it instead of drowning in it. You're not weak for being afraid. You're human. But you stay weak if you let that fear steer your decisions. A Stoic doesn't aim to eliminate emotion. He learns to observe it and then responds through reason. He doesn't panic when fear rises. He studies it, deconstructs it, and steps forward anyway. Say you want to launch a new project. Fear whispers, what if it fails? What if people talk? Emotion amplifies that voice, but logic interrupts it. If it fails, what do you gain? You gain insight. You learn what doesn't work. You learn where to aim next. The man who never begins gains nothing. No scars, no stories, no growth. But the man who tries, even if he falls, walks away sharper and stronger. Fear is like the ocean. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to ride them. When the swell rises, don't freeze, don't flee. Drop your shoulders, breathe deep. Remind yourself this is just a signal, not a sentence. It's not a wall, it's a gate. Once you're capable of walking through, use that moment right before the call, the meeting, the confrontation as a test. Let it become a rep, another set in the gym of your mind. When fear shows up, don't treat it like a red light. Treat it like a green light, a sign that you're on the edge of something worth doing. Because fear, when filtered through reason, becomes fuel. And when you face it enough times, it becomes familiar. It loses its fangs. You stop seeing it as a stop sign and start seeing it for what it really is. Proof that you're alive, that you're growing, and that you're moving in the direction that matters. So next time fear stands between you and the life you want, don't wait for it to go away. Turn on the light and move. 3. Your belief builds your reality. Something changes when a man truly believes in what he's doing. His tone shifts, his presence sharpens. The world around him starts responding differently, not because the world changed, but because he did. That's the power of belief. It's not some mystical energy floating in the air. It's a mental filter that alters how you see yourself, and therefore how you show up in the world. Before 1954, no human being had run a mile in under 4 minutes. Scientists said it couldn't be done. Coaches believed the body would collapse. Runners had tried and failed for decades. But then Roger Bannister showed up, not just with a stronger body, but with a different belief. He told himself it was possible, trained like it was inevitable, and ran like it was already true. The day he broke that so-called barrier, something fascinating happened. Within weeks, others did it too. Nothing changed physiologically. What changed was the belief. The wall was never in the body, it was in the mind. It works the same way in everyday life. A man walks into a job interview thinking, they probably won't pick me, I'm not that impressive. His body responds to that thought. His shoulders slump, his voice lowers, his eye contact drops. He's not rejected because he lacks value. He's rejected because he's already written himself off. Another man walks into the same room with a different filter. He tells himself, I have something to offer. I'm here to see if this place deserves my energy. He speaks clearly, he moves with calm conviction, and often he gets the job, not because he's better, but because his belief showed up first. This is what Stoicism understands. Perception shapes action, and action shapes results. Epictetus said, first, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. It's not enough to want, you must decide. Decide who you are, and then act accordingly. Wait for proof, and you'll wait forever. But act as if it's true, and the evidence follows. Belief is a choice, not a reaction. It's not about hype or ego, it's about choosing the filter you wear. If you look at the world through the lens of failure, you'll see reasons to retreat. If you wear the lens of opportunity, even setbacks will reveal new angles. Belief doesn't deny obstacles, it reveals how to move through them. Picture belief like a pair of tinted glasses. One man wears lenses that say, not good enough. So when he sees a challenge, he sees danger. When someone gives feedback, he hears rejection. Another man wears lenses that say, capable. He sees a challenge and leans in. He hears feedback and gets sharper. Their reality isn't shaped by the world. It's shaped by the words they tell themselves before the world ever speaks. This is why self-discipline and belief go hand in hand. When you act consistently with a vision of who you want to become, you start to believe in that vision more deeply. You don't build belief by sitting around thinking. You build it by choosing your standard, then living up to it again and again, even when no one is watching. There's nothing soft about belief. It's not some feel-good affirmation. It's the quiet decision to stop underestimating your value. The refusal to see yourself as a victim of chance, and the commitment to stand, speak, and move with the weight of someone who knows what he brings to the table. If you've been walking through life wearing the wrong lens, now is the time to change it. Don't wait to be picked. Pick yourself. You choose what filter you wear. You choose what reality you walk into, and the moment you do, really do, everything starts to shift. 4. Master your emotions before they control you. Emotion is fire. Controlled, it cooks your food, warms your home, and lights your path. Uncontrolled, it burns your house to the ground. Most men were never taught to hold the fire steady. They either suppress it until it explodes, or let it run wild and justify the wreckage afterward. But a Stoic man doesn't fear emotion, he masters it. He keeps a fire extinguisher made of logic close by. Because he knows, the strongest man isn't the loudest in the room. He's the one who can feel the heat without letting it consume him. You get cut off in traffic, you feel that spark, that flash of anger. That first emotional response is natural. You don't control the flicker. But what happens next? That's on you. Do you chase the car down? Do you yell, slam the steering wheel, feed the fire? Or do you pause, observe it, let it burn without letting it spread? That pause is everything. It's the space between impulse and integrity. That's where discipline lives. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations that we are not disturbed by things but by our interpretations of them. The Stoics never denied emotion. They denied enslavement to it. Anger, fear, envy, these will knock at your door. But you decide whether to let them in or just let them pass. The difference is in the decision. You feel disrespected in a meeting. Someone undercuts your idea. The old instinct wants to react, cut back, get louder, show dominance. But ask yourself, what outcome do I want? Is it to feel momentarily superior or to maintain long-term respect? Emotion wants to win the moment. Reason wants to win the war. That's why Stoicism is not about becoming numb. It's about becoming intentional. A man once asked Epictetus how he could stay calm under pressure. His answer was sharp: practice. You don't build emotional discipline when life is calm. You build it by training yourself daily like a soldier, like an athlete. You learn to catch the first wave of emotion, breathe through it, and respond with force only when it's required. And when it is, it's clean, it's measured, it's precise. One way to train this? Use the pause. You feel the surge, stop. Don't react, don't defend. Let the emotion rise, name it, and watch it. That act alone makes you more powerful than most men. Because most men are reactors. They're owned by their moods, ruled by impulse. But not you. Not if you choose awareness. Another tool, write it down. After a hard conversation, when you're fuming, write. What did I feel? Why? What did I want to say? What did I actually do? This reflection sharpens your inner blade. Over time, you'll notice something. You won't get pulled in so easily. You won't swing just because someone poked you. You'll move when it's worth it. And when you do, people will feel it, because it's not noise, it's weight. A Stoic doesn't reject emotion. He harnesses it. He knows that fire can forge steel or scorch earth. He chooses the forge. He lets pain shape him, not shatter him. He holds the line when others fold. Not because he feels nothing, but because he feels deeply, and still remains unmoved by chaos. So when the next wave comes, anger, fear, resentment, don't chase it. Don't drown in it. Step back. Watch it roll in. Let it crash, and let it fade. Then walk forward. That's how power is built. Not in the moments you feel great, but in the moments you feel everything and still choose who you are. That choice, that's control. That's masculinity. And that's Stoic fire, used wisely. If you've made it this far, you've already shown more discipline than most, and that's the very mindset we're here to build. Stay with it. The man you're becoming is waiting at the end of this path. 5. Adversity is your training ground. When life hits you with a brick, job loss, heartbreak, financial collapse, what's your first instinct? For most men, it's the same. Why me? That reaction is normal. It's human, but it's not useful. The man who stays in that question stays stuck. The Stoic, however, asks a better question, one that shifts everything. All right, what's the lesson here? That single shift from victimhood to responsibility is the pivot point between staying broken and coming back stronger. Because life doesn't owe you clarity. It owes you nothing. But it will teach you everything if you're willing to shut up, stand up, and listen with your spine, not your ego. Seneca, one of the sharpest Stoic minds, was exiled from Rome, cut off from power, influence, and prestige. Most men would have folded, complained, drowned in bitterness. Seneca didn't. He sat in exile and turned his punishment into purpose. He wrote, reflected, and trained his mind. He turned the cell into a gym. That's what Stoicism teaches. When the world shrinks, you expand inward. Jocko Willink lived this same code in modern form. As a Navy SEAL commander, when a mission went wrong, he didn't deflect. He didn't blame subordinates, timing, or intel. He said two words most men avoid their whole lives: my fault. Then he broke it down, analyzed what failed, and rebuilt. He called it extreme ownership. We call it being a man. Adversity is not a curse. It's not personal. It's part of the contract of being alive. Life is pressure, and pressure reveals what's inside. You think steel is forged in comfort, it's born in flame, it's tested in a collision. And so are you. When hardship hits, you have two choices: collapse or construct. You can fold and say, why is this happening to me? Or you can stand and ask, what is this building in me? One weakens, one sharpens. Life is going to punch either way. Only you decide whether it leaves a scar or shapes your edge. You want mental toughness? Stop seeking ease. Stop waiting for smooth seas. Learn to sail in the storm. You want confidence? Start by facing loss without losing your identity. Resilience doesn't show up in calm. It reveals itself when everything's on fire and you're still standing. Next time something breaks, your plans, your pride, now your heart, don't reach for blame. Don't reach for comfort. Reach inward. Ask, what is this moment trying to strengthen? Maybe it's your patience. Maybe it's your humility. Maybe it's your ability to lead when it's not popular. Whatever it is, squeeze the damn lesson out of it before it passes. Most people waste suffering. They numb it, run from it, talk around it. Stoics use it. They turn pain into philosophy. They write while bleeding. They lead while limping. And they keep moving, not because it doesn't hurt, but because they've learned to walk with pain, not wait for it to vanish. So when life drops the hammer, don't ask to be spared. Ask to be sharpened. And hold the line. You're not here to avoid hardship. You're here to rise through it. That's what discipline looks like. That's what belief looks like, not in the world, but in yourself. Stand in the ruins. Take a breath. Ask the only question that matters: what's the training here? Because every hit you take carries something inside it. Find it, use it, and then get up. 6. Rewire your mind. One thought at a time. Your brain isn't made of steel and concrete. Don't fool yourself. It's more like clay, malleable, always reshaping, constantly under construction. The only question is, who's holding the trowel? Are you picking it up and building the kind of mind that serves you? Or are you letting old habits, old noise, and outside voices do the sculpting for you? Every time you think a thought, take an action, or feed a reaction, it's like walking down a trail in the woods. The more you walk it, the clearer that path becomes. It gets easier to find, easier to follow, until one day, it's automatic. That's how neural pathways work. And that's how you become the man you are, by default or by design. But here's the truth. You can build a new path. You can stop feeding the trail that leads to self-doubt, procrastination, and distraction. You can blaze a different trail, one built on daily clarity, focus, and discipline. Not in theory, not someday, but today. The brain is not fixed, it's reprogrammable. The science calls it neuroplasticity. The Stoics just called it effort. You want to shift how you think? Don't wait for a massive change. Start with the smallest discipline. Stop scrolling your phone before bed. Read one page of a good book instead. One page. Stop grabbing your phone the moment you wake up. Breathe for 5 minutes first. Sit in stillness. That silence rewires more than you realize. These things may seem insignificant, but done daily, they carve new grooves into your thinking, and those grooves become roads, and those roads become who you are. Think of your mind like a garden. Negative thoughts are weeds. You can't wish them away. You've got to get on your knees and pull them up, one by one. But that's not enough. You also need to plant, intentionally. You need to water better thoughts, stronger beliefs, stoic perspectives that ground you when the world spins. Because nature hates a vacuum. If you don't plant your own thinking, the world will plant it for you. And it'll probably be garbage. Every time you complain, every time you say I can't, or that's just how I am, you reinforce the wrong neural trail. You're handing the trowel to your worst instincts. But when you replace those phrases with, I'll find a way, or I'm not there yet, but I'm building, something shifts. Not just emotionally, but neurologically. You're training your brain like a soldier trains his reflexes, and that training becomes instinct. Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. That's not a motivational quote, that's a biological fact. If you don't like your default mindset, change what you're repeating. Stop saying you're stuck. You're not stuck. You're just repeating the wrong sequence. Break the loop. Write a new one. This is not about hype. This is not about feeling good. It's about structure. It's about choosing the inputs that define your identity. It's about becoming the man who doesn't wait for life to reprogram him, because he's too busy doing it himself. So pick up the trowel, rip out the weeds, plant what matters, walk the new path every day, even when it feels unnatural. Especially when it feels unnatural. That's the sign you're forging something new. And if you stay consistent, your mind will catch up. It always does, because your brain is listening to everything you do, and it will believe whatever you train it to believe. One thought at a time, one action at a time, one disciplined step forward every day. 7. Cut the past. Rewrite the story. Those old psychological scars, what people said about you, the failures you've tried to forget, are you still treating them like a life sentence? Because here's some good news. They're not a verdict, they're a draft. And the pen's in your hand now. Most men don't even realize it, but they walk around every day carrying beliefs that were handed to them years ago, by a parent, a coach, a failed moment. You're not smart enough. You always screw it up. You'll never be the guy who makes it. These statements sneak in quietly, and over time they become internal laws. Not because they're true, but because they've been repeated. And repetition breeds belief. But you are not required to keep repeating them. In fact, you can challenge every single one of them. Take out a piece of paper. Write down one limiting thought you've carried for too long. Something like, I always fall short, or I'm not leadership material. Now trace it back. Where did that thought come from? Who said it? What happened? And then ask yourself, is that still 100% true today? Has nothing changed? You'll start to see it for what it is, a leftover echo from a version of you that no longer exists. This is where Stoic philosophy slices through the noise. The past is done, dead, out of your control. But what's not out of your control is how you interpret it. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them." If your story is still hurting you, it's because you're holding the blade the wrong way. The event isn't the prison. The meaning you gave it is. Now, take that same piece of paper. Below the limiting belief, write a new one. Something rooted in action, in proof, in present-day reality. If you've built anything, learned anything, or survived anything, you've already got evidence. Use it. Write a line that says, "I'm not perfect, but I'm capable, and I show up." Or, "I lead because I care, not because I'm flawless." Keep it true, keep it sharp, and repeat it, not just in your mind, but in your behavior. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Receive without pride, let go without attachment." He wasn't talking about things, he was talking about stories, especially the ones that no longer serve you. That version of yourself you keep dragging forward, let it go. If it taught you something great, keep the lesson. Drop the weight. The mind clings to old definitions like a sinking man clings to a rock. But that rock doesn't float. You want to move forward? You've got to let go of who you were told you were. Because as long as your identity is welded to the past, your future is held hostage. And here's the truth. Self-belief doesn't come from ignoring the past. It comes from owning the story, editing it, and using it as fuel. You get to say, "Yes, I failed there, but I didn't stop." You get to say, "Yes, I was underestimated, but not anymore." And more than anything, you get to decide what the next chapter looks like. No one's going to hand you permission to rewrite your story. That's your job. Not someday, now. So drop the excuses, drop the ghosts. You're not stuck. You're just holding on to a version of you that's expired. Pick up the pen, write a new line. Walk like it's already true. Because belief isn't found in the past. It's written in what you choose to do next. Self-belief isn't a spark you wait for. It's a fire you build, brick by brick, moment by moment. Every idea we've explored in this video leads to one truth. Confidence is not something you find. It's something you earn through disciplined thought and consistent action. You act first. Confidence follows. Start by mastering the space between emotion and response. When fear shows up, meet it with logic. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself that your mind is not set in stone. It's a muscle, a tool, a garden. You can rewire it. You can choose what to water, what to cut, and what to build. Then, face adversity as a training ground. When life hits, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What now? And what can I learn here?" That mindset alone will separate you from the majority. The Stoic man doesn't chase ease. He embraces growth, even in chaos. Let go of the past. Let go of the old stories. They don't define you unless you keep rereading them. What matters is what you do next. The decision you make today, the habit you build tonight, the way you carry yourself tomorrow morning. And most importantly, make it daily. Self-belief is not a one-time event. It's a routine. It's the way you think, walk, speak, and show up every single day. No motivation is needed, just intention, just presence, just you, being exactly who you're becoming. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to share your story in the comments. What have you overcome? What belief are you choosing to rewrite? Your voice might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Train your mind, build your discipline, and live like the man you already are, just not yet fully revealed.